It's
What's up, podcast Russia?
Oh my god!
Oh boy,
That's where we get canceled.
But I thought, not everybody in Russia's bad.
No,
They're just going through some shit right now.
I mean the internet cancels us.
Leadership,
the platforms.
Igor's our
is
homie.
that what's going on?
Provinsky, you're a little Isn't that guy's name? The hot dog dude. He doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, dude.
He got put on a nice sesame bun.
Russian
thrown out
dolls
the
are
window.
cool. I enjoy bland food, and
I really love borscht.
borscht is delicious. Just potato.
Yeah.
Potato. What's that?
Pierogi's about as flavorful as it gets.
Pierogi's are pretty good though.
Yeah.
I think they're so good.
Wait, isn't this our intro?
Yes.
Oh shit!
Go ahead,
Go
Jordan.
for it, Jordan.
What's up, guys?
Yeah.
I don't. We got some sponsors.
Hey, friends, we're here to tell you about Allegiance Holsters. Allegiance Holsters is an American-made brand that provides inner waist belt, outer waist belt, as well as IFACs, and I believe they are in the jiu-jitsu community.
Yeah.
Have I seen some posts about
Yeah.
that?
The owner, Aaron's blue belt, I believe.
Very nice.
And his kids all train.
So go support a American-made company, brothers in the geese, as well as the same mentality.
Yeah. And use code TNW10 when you check out. Then we have Tyler Stanaway, who was on the last episode. He has his forest school, which I think may be over for the summer by now. But in case you are interested in getting your kids involved in that next year, you can find that at compassionateviking.com. And then you have my own Training Northwest. And we are just about wrapped up with our class schedule for 2023. But I am always willing to schedule private lessons, and I'm finding more and more now as our name is getting out there that I'm getting contacted almost weekly by people to schedule private lessons. So the range is actually booked up until we go deer hunting in October. I'm going to be out there every single weekend doing private blocks of instruction. And so you can get a hold of me at trainingnorthwest@protonmail.com if that's something that interests you. And if you're not local, we are a dealer of Vortex Optics. And if you just want to support us, we absolutely appreciate it. And you can find, you can find a lot of things on the webpage, trainingnorthwestllc.com. But we don't carry their full lineup just because I don't have the budget to have a large inventory. But I can get anything that's in their catalog. So if you're looking for a particular item or you need help picking out a new set of binoculars or a spotting scope for hunting season, new deer rifle scope, send me an email. I'm really familiar with all their products, and we can help you get whatever it is that you're looking for, and I'll get it in the mail immediately. So that and if you are local, you can come out to the range and get it zeroed after you buy it. That's our Optic Zero program. But anyway. That's it for sponsors. Mike, this is your topic today, or Jordan, did you want to take that one?
Well, I mean, shit. These boys are saying I'm getting a little bit more smooth on the mic here, so might as well.
What did we talk about today,
We
Jordan?
talked about communication and how we all communicate, what we're getting out of this podcast with each other, and what we think people should be getting out of life. And how, technology is kind of, I believe, eroding what the life experience is. Yeah. So you don't need to have a cell phone and a bunch of technology to sit around and bullshit with your buddies, and don't forget to set aside time to do that.
Truer words couldn't have been said.
Enjoy the show, you guys.
I got an idea what we're talking about.
Unless it's scripted.
What's up, Podcast Japan?
What are we here to talk about, Mike?
I say we talk about communication.
All right.
If you guys are cool with that, it's like we've done this little
Do we have to look into each other's eyes while we speak to each other?
no in the dongs.
Well, the messed up thing is there's three of us, right? So how the hell is that going to work? Eyes are going to be all crossed, looking at the two of you.
Have you guys ever spooned with more than one man?
besides my dad and his friend? No.
I said I wouldn't say.
My father.
Oh man, I can remember nights being freezing ass cold on Fort Lewis, and like an entire squad of Rangers laying in one big line of spoon, just trying, like waiting from like we'd shoot a day range, and then they'd bring hot chow out to the range, and we'd eat, and then we'd just have to kill time until it was dark enough to shoot with nods on.
Who was tougher, the guy on the in the front or the back?
I was just saying, the
guy in the back has the most fun.
The two guys on the ends have the shit end of the stick. Everybody in the middle is warm.
Yeah.
One guy only has the shit end of the stick. Yeah. It's not both guys. Dude, one of the gayest things I could participate in was I went to wrestling camp one year.
Hey, shut up, dude.
Yeah. And we did, like, there must have been 80 people there. And we did, what's it called? A cradle, where you go under the head and under one leg, you know? Yeah. And so we did it with all 80 people. And we took a picture, and it was like an 80-man cradle. And it looked like, what's that movie where they're sewn ass to man? Yeah, it looked like a human centipede of dudes in wrestling singlets.
Yeah, big circle.
That was a gay thing.
Yeah. The coach was like, I won't take a picture.
What do you
get
think
in there?
Do you think there
nice and deep, like?
Do you think there's a Guinness book for the longest spoon? Not time wise, but people doing it.
Well, I'm wondering what military branch it is, because we know it belongs to the boys.
Miami National Guard. Yeah.
Shit. Yeah.
Communication.
Well, one time I was so cold. It's one of those things that, like, I was fucking freezing. We were camping, and we're in a tent with my mom and dad and brother. I don't know if my brother was there, actually. No, he was. I'm sure he was. Anyway, doesn't matter. Why leave it out? But I go, I'm so cold, and I'm just fucking shaking, just colder than hell. We're up in the mountains on this, like, little lake thing, and I go, Mom, Dad, I love you. And I was thinking, like,
it's like, this is it.
I'm saying, well, I was just saying, like, good night, love you guys, good night. And my dad took it as like, oh, and he just started laughing. He goes, is this it, buddy? Is this it? And I'm just like, and he's just dying laughing.
Oh my God.
Good times. He's like,
that's funny.
Oh,
little kids are good. I remember I went to Washington, D.C. as a kid, and I went with my cousin, and he was just like crying. He's like, my legs hurt. And at the same time, he's skipping in front of the Capitol building. It's like, really? They hurt, huh? Skipping?
Yeah.
My legs hurt. My legs hurt. Show you how they hurt. In front of the Capitol building. Oh, my legs hurt. My legs hurt.
All right, Mike.
Communication.
Yeah.
Okay, so I brought up the topic of
what made that pop into your head?
Taking time off from doing this, because it's like we did what, 24 episodes?
No, I think it was like
25, 26, yeah. 26, and that's
did a solid half year.
Yeah,
without a miss,
and we did one a week, and like I remember when we first sat down and said, like, what our intent.
Guys, this is a commitment. Do you know how drunk we get when we do these?
For you guys.
Some of us.
For you guys. David, I'm talking to you.
But we started this as like, the world's kind of crazy. Stuff's happening. We got along, and it's like, let's record it and kind of see how it goes. And what I thought it would be, it isn't what it is. It's something different that I enjoy more. But it's really made me question my own thoughts and like what I read, and bringing up points and having different people really sit down and debate. Normally when you run into someone at work at the cooler, you'll talk for maybe 5 minutes. That's a long conversation. If it's 10 minutes at work, your boss is going to be like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Get back to work. So other people that are like, you guys are outside my circle, but you're in my circle. We all kind of come from different backgrounds and have different philosophies, but we still have common ethics and morals that we can, discuss these things and discuss what a good way of life is. And so, like, having to convey my thoughts and you guys bounce it off, or have you guys say your thoughts or different opinions on things, and Tobin and I will talk back. It's interesting because it makes me think about how I think about just life, things as much as government, relationships, purpose, what like motivates you guys and drive by like book reports, routine, just understanding different people. It's been kind of a fun experiment, and what we're just trying to do is talk, and hopefully we can do it articulately enough that other people find it interesting. But in doing so, I feel like this has provided a lot of growth for myself and for having relationships with friends and people around me. I feel like this has made me a better, just towards the people around me in my general life. It's kind of paid off. And what it's doing is being honest, it's talking, it's listening to someone's ideas, and I don't know, just trying to really think about it.
That's awesome. What were your preconceived notions coming in? Because when you said that, it made me...
I figured we'd be rich by now. I figured yacht and champagne, gentlemen. I don't know. I just wanted... I like reading and not like... I like ideas, right? And a lot of ideas come from books. And it's just... even bringing up the Mike Zedong, like different philosophies and seeing how other people interpret it or bounce it back. I only do this in my head. You know, I practice like the moves, but I don't spar. Like this is a sparring match in a way. And it's like, cool, I've had 26 verbal fights, spars. You know what I mean? I'm a white belt, but I've had 26 rolls on a mic and really trying to dive deep into what I think, and I don't know, not sound like an idiot, but nothing's perfect. It can always be fixed and better. Look at our government. Look at our combustion engines and how we drive. Everything can be better. So the only way it gets better is by disseminating these ideas for other people to listen and talk to. And we're a hive. We're a group. Team people, right? If we're going to do this, it's not one person, it's the world. So this is my purpose of disseminating that. I feel like this is more impactful than voting. You know,
I think you're right. And it is sort of like I when I upload the episodes, I see like the statistics from the previous episodes, and so a lot of times I poo-poo it, but there are 400 or 500 people per episode who are listening to whatever, little ideas we have. And I think it helps add to the public consciousness in a time when we are very much in a culture war. And I think I said that in episode 1, that right now I think the United States is in a culture war of sort of leftist wokeism versus traditional values. Yeah. And so this is our little way of pushing back a little bit.
Yeah, I think what you see is just like, we are normal people. Mm-hmm. I mean, we all have extraordinary traits about us, but we have families, we work, we're just normal people. And
for everybody listening, what he means is that one of us, we're not going to tell you who, is hung like an elephant. And we'll let you speculate about that.
He's licking his lips.
So anyway, diverse qualities. Go ahead.
Oh, but we're just normal. Whatever. We're average people, and I think that's kind of what we reflect in just normal ideas and how we want to live life. And I think that should be put into thought process. Like you look at what the far left and the far right. It's like I don't believe in going for either one. I feel like you should be far in doubt. Like you should constantly be doubting the things they say. And like giving yourself information is a tool and it's a weapon. And that allows you to kind of see where bullshit is. How do you know if someone's far left unless you know what the center is, the right is, or examples of all of it?
Yeah. With this whole thing, like for me, it's been... like I said in the very beginning, like learning how to talk a little bit better and have, ideas that flow out and get more comfortable sharing ideas, but not to say that that's happened very much, although I am certainly more comfortable saying stuff.
Yeah.
But
You got smoother.
Yeah, lots.
Yeah, but it's
You don't say the F word every third word.
fucking A. But I mean, I think that it kind of shows blind spots. Like listening back to it, it was like, I was bringing that to a high school wrestling room, maybe. I don't know where I was talking. Like, I mean, obviously I knew I said it like the F word a lot and stuff, but like just things like that. But then also that was the selfish reason why I wanted to do it. And then, you know, like you said, like ideas and like understanding, like, you know, kind of your mindset, Mike's mindset, Tobin's mindset, and like mine are all, you know, I think the morals are all the same. I think we all share the same ethics. We know right and wrong. But then we come at that in a little bit of a different way. And then it's like, oh, is that really hurting anybody? Like, no, I guess why would I care? You know, like, I don't have specific examples, but like, you know, some of the stuff you've talked about, it's like, that's not exactly what I think. And then like, as you're talking, it's like, oh, you know, that makes sense. And it's okay. Not the one world government shit, but you know, just beyond that, right? Like, it's been interesting, and it's also been it's been challenging, like the timing, and like it has made me realize that time is going by so fast. You know, we say 26 weeks, and it's like, dude, I feel like we just started doing this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I don't feel this is something that I mean, obviously it's really not the grand scheme of life, right? But it's not nothing, you know?
No.
This has been something that has marked our weeks, week in and week out.
Yeah.
And sit down with you guys every week and make it happen has just been like, it's been extremely nice. You know, I just know that that's one thing I got to do along with going to work and this and that. Like, oh, I'm going to get a podcast in. I'm going to get some training in. I'm going to get a podcast in.
It's like a workout.
It is in a certain way, you know. And I mean, granted, you know, sometimes we show up and it's just absolute debauchery, but you know, it's not to say a debauchery, rather.
I like debauchery.
Debauchery.
That's even better. Yeah. That's worse than debauchery.
Yeah, I'm fucked up. But I mean, that's part of it, right? Like, and I think it grounds me to be able to come in, and even if I'm not talking that much, or maybe I'm talking too much, it's nice to sit down with two people and actually have a long format conversation, and not even a long format conversation, just sit down and bullshit with the buddies
for a couple hours.
You know, how many people don't get to do that during the week?
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of guys come here and they come, a lot of people come to the gym and get a 2-hour session in, but it's like, I got to get back. I got to get back to reality right now.
Yeah.
And they leave this and they got to roll out. And we kind of make the point to stick around and like ground ourselves. And that's super important.
Yeah.
So even if people are listening to this, I mean, Kay gave us a really good compliment when she was like, I like listening because it's like listening to my brothers talk. And to me, that was like really special because it's like, like nice. Somebody can like relate in a way and find maybe comfort in us being jackasses because we are, like you said, average, everyday dudes just bullshitting.
It's weird to think someone would feel comfort from my voice or like from what I have to say. Like,
this is soothing.
If I could just get 2 hours of you reading War and Peace, I would fall asleep to it every night.
Yeah.
And then he took a breath, turned the page.
God damn it.
I'll do sound effects.
Do you think, so you were kind of leading into that, you were talking about how we sort of hang out after practice. Do you think this podcast, both of you, do you guys think this podcast has added a little bit to sort of the culture and the excitement that's coming out of Electric North right now?
I have to think like Marvel has a universe, DC has a universe, all the Star Wars has its own universe where there's all these little stories and tidbits written into it. So far, we have the Endless Endeavor, we have Compassionate Viking, and we have Enlightened Neanderthals.
Right.
This gym has developed its
big
own
things
universe.
out of it. Like Will's starting his videography and whatnot, and I think he said he's even going to start a podcast in the fall. So
hell yeah.
You know what I mean? More and more people keep coming in here, getting sort of like energized. And then, you have all these little different vectors sort of shooting out of here. But it's sort of cool how we have this central nucleus here, and everybody's got their own little piece of the culture of what I think the draw is that brings people in.
Yeah.
But I think I'm proud to have a little piece of that, because what I see here is it's almost like a community icon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's just a place that fosters growth. It started as jiu-jitsu, but it's kind of turned into more than that. And Greg's personality and his drive and his ambition, it's like it sets a lot of people on fire. I mean, it's why I stayed here, and I think it's because it's a warm and accepting place like that, and everyone's pushing everyone to be better and support them in a good way. It allows for people not to feel like maybe what their hobby is a dumb idea and that they can achieve, or, and what they have strength in, maybe showcase it and make money off of it, or just get it out there and because you like it and it brings you in with cool people. I mean, we don't get paid for any of this stuff.
But to what you're saying, like everybody's kind of everybody's coming for the jiu-jitsu, and then they're staying for something a little different, I think. And then
look at the knuckleheads downstairs in the sauna right now.
Oh yeah.
There's sweaty boys.
There's like 10, 25-year-old guys in the fucking little tiny sauna right now.
Mm-hmm. Loving life.
Yeah.
Like this is what it's all about, man. It's just
goobers.
this is truly what life's all about. Is finding like family outside of family.
Yeah.
And that's what this place has become, and like doing what you can for everybody. And it is very, very rare to find a group of people. And I say that, but I found it in a couple spots, but I think it's rare to find a group of people who truly want good things for you and don't get jaded when they see success. Yeah. So like, you see Tyler doing his stuff and it's like, whatever we can do to help, we want to see success. You with Training Northwest, a lot of guys have rolled through there, from the gym.
Yeah.
Greg's podcast, all the support in the world with everybody just listening and doing, being on, like all the stuff, right? Like, we have that happening here, and people are doing what they can to like encourage and make those offshoots as strong as possible. And from those offshoots, there's going to be more and more stuff. I mean, look at, like you said, with Will's photography stuff. Will's killing it with that, and now he's going to start a podcast, so he's going to have his own, like, this thing that starts happening around that, and it's like, how fucking cool.
Everyone's got a nice setup, and we still sit on the mats and love it. Right. I wouldn't change it.
I was just going to say, Greg offered, he's like, do you want a key to the office down here so you can use the table for podcasts? And I was like,
this is home, dude.
We kind of like it up on the mats.
I love upstairs. This is my original home. This is my bedroom. Yeah. This is where I grew up. And now I got a big old house down there, and it's like, I'm going to hang out in my bedroom.
Yeah. Well, hey, I want to back up for a second, because I was kind of bagging on the young guys down there, all packed in the sauna. Mm-hmm. But that brings up another point, which is that for everybody who is sort of in 2023, I feel like there's also a epidemic of loneliness, because people are so isolated from one another. They work in cubicles, then they go home, and I think a lot of people get their social interaction by putting on a headset and playing video games. Yeah. And they talk, who knows if they're talking to another person or just some fucking bot, right?
A 13-year-old Asian kid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's their social interaction. And I think there's a lot of depression because they don't have friends.
Yeah.
And so this gym is a perfect example of why you have to put yourself out there and do something difficult with other people, because those motherfuckers down there are tight. And I don't mean you know what I mean? Like, they are motherfucking homies.
Yeah.
And that's
spoon buddies, some would say.
That's why they keep coming. They're not, they came for the jiu-jitsu, and they stayed because their best friends are all here.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's kind of a good point. Like, there's movies about gamers who fucking finally meet, and they're like, we're best friends. I've never met my best friend. And then they meet in real life, and it's like, holy shit. Like, oh my God. And it's like,
so weird.
How fucked is that?
It's so weird.
It's like we've gone through some campaigns together, brother. Like,
Oh my God.
you know what I mean? It's like it doesn't. I don't get it. And maybe they are finding a little bit of that, but I guarantee it's not putting your hands on another human downstairs and having that connection, because that's.
It's more just the shared struggle, and even though you're one-on-one, so you're fighting an individual match, like. Just being on the mats together, that is a shared. When everybody is out there rolling 6-minute rounds for by round 5, and you're just completely fucking dying, but everybody's still going. That's that shared struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Along with the intimacy of like having your fucking hands on each other, like cheek to cheek, and as you're trying to kill each other.
I don't get the whole group thing. Like,
You know what? There's some diversity in cheek to cheek.
cheek to cheek,
Butt
cheek to butt cheek. It's still cheek to cheek.
I'm thinking more like seatbelt. You could be loving your woman or
Whoa.
trying to kill your friend.
Oh shit. That threw me for a loop. I just blanked out when you said the seatbelt.
Come over here. I'll put you in seatbelt.
Yeah, let me calm you down.
Butt cheeks.
Was it?
Cheek to cheek. All I remember him saying cheek to cheek.
Yeah.
Diversity, friends,
No, we're talking about
connection. Oh, I don't get like the whole group thing where it's like I'm rolling over here and like 5 groups over there. I know someone else is rolling, and the end of the night, we all come together and line up, and it's like we all did this together. It's like I don't fucking get that. What I get is with every person that I go with, and this is probably the most woo-woo I'll get, but it's like when you roll with someone, I feel like you get their intent, their personality, their energy of that day, whether they had a good or a bad day. If it's a new person and they do cheap shit on you, you kind of learn the personality of that person and how they probably operate in life. Yeah. And you kind of get a feel for just whether this person's fun, you can still be applying chokes, but you can be dicks about it. You can be struggling. You can be fighting it. You can be smooth. You can be playing a game, and you feel you understand that person in a way that's like when you're done at the end of that 6 minutes and you slap and bump, it's kind of like Avatar. We connected ponytails. Mm-hmm. It's like, I get you. And they're like, I get you. And it's like, cool.
Yeah, everything but penetration, dude.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, no. What's that, oil can?
Yeah. No, I think it's super important. Like that's why when Johnny came we were gonna do the Warrior Healer podcast that didn't end up working out. But can I get one of those?
Yeah. Hey, let's have a round.
Yeah, let's. Here, I'll pass it to you. Hold on, teamwork. Here we go. I'm gonna roll that just a little bit, not a lot.
Podcast fluid.
Jackpot.
But anywho, yeah, I hadn't met him yet, but I knew he was here, and it was like, well, shit, I better run down to the gym real quick during Guns and Geese before I go to the campfire and cook, because I might not. There's another thing, right, that came out of this gym. Like I found a passion for cooking. I always liked it, but didn't be able to like, hey, I'm going to do this for the gym. Like I enjoy that. Like it's just one more thing. Anyway, sorry.
That's awesome.
But it makes me want to start a little company. But
I like how you say company.
I wanted to get a chance to have a role with him before actually meeting him. Mm-hmm. Because it was like, well, if that's how we meet and we only have 15 minutes to hang out, fuck, like I'm going to know who the fuck you are. If I had it my way and I had a company, my interviews would be on a jiu-jitsu man.
Yeah. We should start a staffing company.
You know what I mean? And just say, hey, no, like this guy is not what you want. Like this is, we could. I mean, because you learn enough about somebody. Yeah. It's like, how hard are they going to work? Are they assholes? Are this maybe socially, right? Maybe I can't read, but my jiu-jitsu doesn't tell you that. But it's important, I think, to have that connection. And it was interesting because I only got about 15 to 20 minutes of jiu-jitsu and then BSing, and then I had to fucking dip out, and we were off to the next event for Guns and Geese. And it was like, okay, I know what he's about.
Yeah.
I I got to know him more right there than I did the rest of the night at the bonfire.
Yeah.
And that was good enough for me.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, Rachel texted me and asked if I was going to be there one day. Hugh was there, and she's like, I want you to meet him, and I want you to roll with him. And I've been slammed at work, and I think I got here right before class started and did class, and I was like, I'm just so ready to go home. But Rachel ended up grabbing me, and she's like, roll around with him. And so I met him real quick, and I did a round. And but it was good. It's like I could tell what he was about. Like you said, like his style, his strength when he wanted to explode, just how he moved. It wasn't dickish. You could just tell how people move. And yeah, it was like he got done doing the Guns and Geese. Like he's very motivated at the moment. He's in good spirits, and it's like I got all that. I could feel that from him. Mm-hmm. Of course, I had to go Neon Belly because I had to crush it. But I felt like he was, coming from a fucking fantastic weekend, and just through rolling someone, it's like beaming, had to crush it, beaming, crush it.
Yeah, I mean,
he was a good roll.
No, absolutely. And then like after we sat down and like bullshitted towards the end of the weekend, and it was like, oh, fucking cooler than shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's special to have that. So yeah, we should start a company. Just making people roll first.
It is interesting you say that because
it's funny. Hang on, this makes me think of when I went into the electrician's apprenticeship. One of the things you have to do is you actually do have to go do a little miniature PT test. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And so you go to one of these dock in the box walk-in clinic things, and they've got a room set up in the back, and they tell you to wear like jeans and work boots because they want you dressed like you will be on a construction site. And so you go in the back, and they have you. I think you walk on a treadmill for like 7 minutes, and then you get up. You hold like a 5-pound weight and climb up and down a ladder, and you do. It's ridiculous.
You have
right?
to lift a thing of conduit and walk upstairs and come back down, and
yeah,
it's like firefighters.
Essentially, that's what it is. It's like an occupational therapy.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like an occupational physical test or some shit. But
is it hard at all?
No. But when I was sitting in the lobby waiting for my turn to come in, the guy who comes out ahead of me, he's sweating and he's like panting. He's like, "Oh man." He looks at me and goes, "Good luck in there."
We're never gonna make it, bro.
I was kind of walking in there going like, "Okay, what do we got here?" But then it made me realize that some people are, 60% of Americans are obese. Imagine if you walked into a job interview and it's Jordan standing there in his fucking like rash guard, and he's like, "Hey, come on in. You my 10 o'clock?"
Yeah.
And you have no idea what's coming.
Do you think it'll make you better?
That's just a funny thought.
Well, like
made me laugh.
That's a skit.
How fit do you have to be to make coffee? How fit do you have to be to program? How fit do you have to be?
Not very.
Right? And so it's like,
but you
would
find
they
out
be better?
Spirit.
Yeah. So would they be better at their job if they worked out more, or does
I think they
motivating
would
that
be happier.
Inner spirit?
Yes.
Does that equal performance in job?
I think it adds to the why Electric North is so good is because the spirits are so high.
Yeah.
And people feel that instantly.
Yeah.
And that happens because everybody's coming here and working their ass off.
Yeah.
It's why I'm guaranteed there's people who go to CrossFit and they feel the same thing at CrossFit.
Yeah.
But they don't get the added benefit of actually knowing what the fuck somebody's about.
Yeah.
Because
I don't think you get the connection in a gym.
No, you have to physically have a contact with people. You have to have that ponytail connection. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is where this is coming from. It is coming down like crazy outside.
Oh, that's rain. Wow.
That's rain.
Holy crap.
Wow. Good thing I got my roof done.
Just in time.
Yeah. Just got some paint on that chicken coop.
Oh.
Yeah.
You getting chicken soon?
I am going to get chicken soon, but I haven't finished the run. I'm like everything in my life. I'm 95% of the way there, 90% of the way there, and it's like, come on, just 10%, and you'll be done with so many things.
It's time to start a new project.
Oh, dude, yeah. That kitchen that still 2 years later, three. You know, like just all that. The carpets, like I called the carpet guy. Carpet guys are gonna sometime. They could have done it Thursday.
At some point, I'm just gonna show up at your house and start making a kitchen.
Dude, well, you're gonna walk out back and you're gonna see a couple grills, and it's a sweet little setup I got back there. I've been watching
house camping.
Dude, there's a guy, and I want to say it's Wilderness Cooking. There's a couple guys that I like to watch on Instagram, and I had to delete my Instagram. Sorry, sidetrack.
Too many dick pics? Thank you, listeners.
The fans came through.
Yeah, I couldn't stop staring. No, this guy.
That's why the kitchen hasn't been built
on YouTube. Yeah,
this podcast is ruining Jordan.
Yeah. But he has like these cooking like apparatuses, and I don't know what the hell, like where this guy's at. It's like in Turkey or something. I have no fucking clue. But he has like this little well thing that's like it puts the lotion on Buffalo Bill, and he'll start a fire in this little like fucking dungeon thing, and he'll hang meat inside of it. And it's basically like a smoker.
Yeah.
But then he like puts a lid on it and then puts mud around it.
Yeah.
And dude, it's the coolest thing. And it'll cook like a full lamb in it, or it'll cook.
That's like Turkish or
yes,
Eastern,
yes.
where they do oven
like the clay,
and then like
whatever.
Well, he has a clay oven.
Yeah.
He has a pit that's just like I said, it's like a well.
Yeah.
That's not to anything, and it's like maybe as big as this punching bag.
That's how you make tandoori chicken.
It is. I think
and
that's
naan.
Yeah.
Put it in that fiery well.
But it's it's
a
not,
huge pit. It's like 6 feet deep.
Yeah.
Is it lined with brick or?
This is lined with
usually,
brick. Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Just light a fire in the bottom.
yeah, he takes a bunch of sticks
bunch of wood.
and lights it, and then lets that kind of burn down, and then he'll take and kind of like he'll put like a pan down there full of rice or something that he cooks, and then he'll hang with this little cross brace thing, hang a lamb from it, or hang like a quarter of a like a rear ham
like
or something,
hind
quarter of a beef or something. And dude, it looks so fucking cool. And it's like I could do that.
Yeah.
Do I want to start that rocket project right now? Yeah. When I bought that place, I was like, I'm gonna fucking kill it. I'm gonna do everything. I'm gonna have all the money and be able to take care of it and do what I want to do. And I ran out of money.
That's home ownership.
And then ran out of motivation. And I was like, I'll be motivated to do this every day. And I'm like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. That nap sounds great right now. Like,
I know sometimes I'm like,
I struggled to get up and make it to practice today.
Yeah.
No.
What, you come home before you get here?
Yeah, because we leave work at 2.
Oh, nice. What time do you start?
6.
Nice.
yeah, there's too much
Fuckers
time.
get to leave early.
Yeah.
Leave early.
Yeah.
We leave to work early.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm on the road same time as you boys.
Are you?
Yeah, I get up at 4.
Oh, gross.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kozak's hard. What can I say?
It's hard. Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. It's a hell of a week.
Yeah.
Pee break?
Pee break.
Pee break.
Who would show up
What?
for you, like, or as?
I went to a funeral one time for one of my dad's buddies, and it was like 1,000 people were there, and famous people were there, like famous, like to this area or well known, and like everyone that spoke was like, this was the greatest man ever and stuff like that. And I always think, when you die, who's coming to your funeral? And I think that kind of like, who's by your side? Mm-hmm. Who comes for that? And I think that's a mark of what you put into this world and the effect you've had on the people existing around you.
Yeah. Well, even what that does for your family to show up and see that and be like, holy shit.
Yeah, support.
Like the amount of the kind of impact this person has had is that's a representation of the impact that somebody has had on people, and like to know like, oh, like the life that was led by somebody or is led by somebody is so individual. Like my parents don't know you guys, right? Yeah. Like I've told them they've heard you guys, I'm sure, but like, my parents don't know everybody on the gym.
My parents don't even know I do a podcast.
Oh, what? Oh my! Are you serious?
My mom does, but my dad and my stepmom have no clue. They could care less.
Mike, these are subscribers.
They could care less, dude. I guarantee you.
Yeah. Well, never fucking mind. Fuck that guy. Star power. Fucking this fucking nerd.
But I mean, I think that's like to go back to my thing of communication. That's why this gym is like important, or it has like, seems to have kind of a deeper purpose. And through Greg, like he's communicating to us. Like you can communicate verbally, you can communicate non-verbally through action, through what you do in life, and you can help push people. You can tell them about biohacking or benefits of certain things that shave recovery or help mental focus, whatever it is. And so when you have someone that's constantly communicating, that I think that's what they're doing, is they're having impact on other people's lives. And to go to that funeral thing, who's coming to your funeral, the more you communicate with people around you in the world, the more I think it lifts you up. That's what all this is getting a better understanding of the world that's happening around me by talking to others, reading things, witnessing things. And that's, I mean, a life well spoken is going to bring you joy and fruitfulness and friends, whereas a shut-in, that guy with a headset on that gets home from work and plays Call of Duty, he doesn't have friends at his funeral. And so it's like, that's what is fun about like doing this and talking about this. This is like what it's about. That's sometimes the problem I have with philosophy and these philosophers, like even like existentialism, like weird guys like Descartes and stuff. And it's cool old philosophy, but like they were fucked up people, and they would do fucked up experiments and stuff on animals because they're lamenting what is the purpose. Or like the monk guy that's going to sit on the mountain and think until he writes what he feels. But it's like, what that guy's not doing? He's not living. He's not having those experiences of community, of bonds, of like we went elk hunting and we were on the top of the mountain in an amazing place. It's like, fuck philosophy. That is philosophy. That is how life is supposed to be done, is by experiments or experiences and pushing yourself and going. The action of doing and surrounding yourself with the world, the people around you in this world, and the closest people around you in this world.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it is a special bond. And I mean, I would feel that people talk about in hunting, right? Like finding a hunting partner is like, it's like a relationship. It's like a marriage. It's like a dating.
Yeah.
And it's very like, it's personal because you have that. And I would say going hunting with somebody is like spending a day hunting with somebody.
It's a first date.
Primal.
It's a first date, but it's very much like getting on the mats and doing a round of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you hunted with someone regularly and often, you would get to know them as intimately, I think, as you do rolling with them.
Absolutely, and I think that because it's a physical and an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah,
you're pushing each other. You're trying to make decisions like, okay, is this decision being made out of cowardice because you don't want to go to that next ridge?
Yeah.
Is that because do you truly think that that's a good idea, or do you want to just like, maybe we should just turn around? Maybe we should just. And it's like you gotta make those calls, and like you're learning together, and you're trying to be diplomatic with how you're portraying what you think is right, and like all these different things. And that same thing happens on the mat. When somebody's trying to be and they're trying to impose their will on the mat. When you're in the mountains, when somebody's like, this is what we're doing, versus like, I think this will work. What do you think? Like, I'm giving you, like, let's make this our hunt, not your hunt or my hunt, Yeah. And I think that's how, back when people needed to hunt to survive, that's probably how they did it, or they learned to hunt together, and they learned like, hey, it doesn't matter if you kill it or I kill it, we're killing it and we're going to have food.
Yeah.
And that's like, because I've gone on those hunts where it's like, who's getting it? And then it's like, whoa, like this, it didn't feel right. But when we went,
how many tags we got?
Yeah, when we went, it was like, let's just fucking get something down. Let's go. Like, and having that like feeling of like, we're working together, we're a unit, versus like, okay, like if whoever gets the shot, fucking shoot, or like, but it's more like, it's that feeding off of it. It's wanting to see each other succeed.
Yeah.
And that's what we're getting here. And that's why I would feel
putting the group ahead of yourself.
Yeah. And I'd feel perfectly comfortable going hunting with anybody at this gym that I know, that I've rolled with and has had like that feeling. I would feel confident in taking somebody and doing an intimate thing, in being willing to spend a weekend and actually like do something with somebody like that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, this is as good of a clearinghouse for that kind of thing as anything else.
Yeah.
Which is, again, why we should start that company.
Job interview.
You're welcome. That's,
You are the first person I've hunted with from the gym, and it's like, it has worked out well. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, you're into hunting more than most, but like if I had to go with someone that was green, it's like, I understand I'm going to be showing them a lot of things, but I still I think someone from here would be able to do it and like be open-minded and put in effort and stuff. But like you are the first person from this gym, and your hunting style is very similar kind of to mine and stuff.
Yeah.
And especially doing this elk hunt, because we've done duck and turkey now, and this is the first time doing large animals, and archery elk can be fucking, it's make or break. Some people kind of get how to do it and some people don't. I haven't killed an elk with my bow yet, so it's like I guess I don't get how to do it, but in a way I know how to get into animals and get in their area. And it's vibed very well. And I also think some of it is like you and I kind of doing shooting together and having trigger time, and just, I don't know, even from the space of jiu-jitsu, you learn someone's proximity, kind of where they're going to go, where you are in relationship. If it's someone completely new, maybe they just run off 300 yards. And you're like, oh shit, where'd this person go? But you kind of start to learn how to work and move as a team, and it's been good hunting. And I felt that a lot on this last elk hunt.
Yeah, no, it was great. It's too bad Toba didn't make it out, because dude, it would have been a blast. I mean,
you thought bear hunting's fun, dude. This would have fucking.
Those pictures were fucking incredible. That was like some National Geographic shit.
Hey, when Kozak says I'm gonna take you to my honey hole, you come to his honey hole.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Is like you couldn't hear the elks the elk bugling in that area. It was so fun, and just like. It just pumps you up. It's a shot of adrenaline when all of a sudden you call out, and all of a sudden they're firing off in this bowl.
Yeah.
And there's, not.
It's a bunch of them.
There's 3 or 4 down in this. And then, we ended up seeing.
Not only you hear them, but like they are coming at you when they're horny. God damn, it's awesome.
Yeah. We were probably.
James
40.
could have stuck that arrow through the bush and hit that elk probably.
Yeah.
If he just would, put it in his hand. That bush was like 6 feet thick, and that elk was just right there, just talking, screaming.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool. And it was off. It was off a ways. We could have set up a little better. And
we happens in the moment.
Yeah, we discussed it and we figured out like, okay, now we know, this is how we're gonna, and that's the cool thing about it. It's like you're constant learning and evolution.
You're literally developing tactics and SOPs.
Yeah. They're SOPing the fuck out of it. We did, whatever that means.
Jordan,
standard
operating procedure.
I fucking knew that. SOPs. Come on, guys, get with it. But yeah, it was nice. They were firing off, and that one charged in probably. I bet it probably came 150 yards.
Yeah,
200 yards, and fucking ran up on us because it had to have been up there.
It was far away, and he came in looking to fight.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Yeah. My favorite part is, like, I laid down with my bow and that arrow knocked, and I laid in, like, a fucking bee's nest. Oh, no. And, like, they're swarming out, and I'm trying to be really careful, but it's like, I can deal with this. And you're back there bugling, and I look back, and you got that little sapling, or it's big tree, but you're fucking shaking it back and forth like it's raking and looking to fight. And it's like, dude, if this elk comes out and I get a shot off and I get stung in the face by a bee, completely worth it.
Oh, dude, yeah. Well, so as that's happening, I also because I got a perfect view of Kozak, and he's down, like ducked and kind of tucked away, just kind of waiting. And I do see you kind of like doing some swatting in your face. But then pretty soon, he had his fucking hat off, and he's like fucking using his hat to bat these bees away. And,
it's good. I was in a tree, though.
It was so funny. It was so funny. We just couldn't get it to step out in the field. It was waiting for wind, and it started bugling a little different as a show yourself, like where you at kind of thing. So, yeah, we
need a cardboard cutout of an elk.
Well,
that happens, and you just run out. Those ones through the bow.
Yeah, I was gonna say those Montana decoys that are just like a bow. You put it on the front of your bow, and it's like a fucking elk's ass. You know what I mean? Or a doe's head,
and the
or
arrow
a cow's
comes
head.
out the tail when you shoot.
Yeah, just out the butthole. Got him.
Oh, man.
Dude, do you think anyone's ever been shot by using a decoy like that? Like they have one of those on their bow, like antlers?
No.
I feel like rifle would happen.
Yeah, but you don't fuck around with that with a rifle. No way, dude.
That's what I mean.
You fucking paint that thing orange.
Dude, somewhere in Montana, it's got to happen. Colorado.
I guarantee friendly fire has happened. Absolutely. But it's like, I know people up here in Washington hunting that they're just kind of pieces of shit, and they'll shoot at a moving bush, and they're just like, people aren't up here.
Oh, man.
Oh, you piece of crap. And verbatim has said that, there's nobody out where I hunt.
That's kind of why I do archery hunt.
Yeah.
It's like no one's really going to nail you from over 80 yards away.
Yeah. Well, and archery hunting is like
the pace is slower because you.
Yes.
And so
it's
you
quiet.
Can't not identify your target, really.
Yeah.
I guess you could just fire an arrow into a bush, but.
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather be shot with a bullet than an arrow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those broadheads are gnarly.
Aren't bullets hot, though? Like having a bullet in you burning. Maybe it's cauterizing things.
You ever
think
got
a fucking
cut?
broadhead would be better?
You ever gotten cut?
Yeah, you don't feel it. If it just went through,
you would
dude,
feel that, bud.
How many videos do you see of elk getting shot with arrows and they're like, and then they just resume and they fall over? But you've never seen a video of an elk get shot. It's like, oh, what the fuck is that? Hey, grass.
Do you think you'd get shot and then be like,
Cry.
just go back to like whatever the fuck you were doing?
Yeah.
You're,
Sipping my beer.
yeah, you're sipping a beer. You're
Ow,
fucking,
that was weird. Pace of life.
back to it.
I don't know.
Fuck no, you wouldn't. You'd see smoke rolling out of your fucking...
See, but in my head, I rather get shot than stabbed. But in a weird way,
that's my mom's. That's so funny you said that. My mom, when she was in high school, that was her like thing against gun control.
What?
She was like, I'd rather be shot than stabbed. Oh, when she was in high school, they had something, and that was her argument.
Oh my goodness!
For a debate.
It seems maybe a bullet seems quicker, but it might. I don't know. They both are not going to be good for you.
No, it's just the brutality of the broadhead seems far worse.
Yeah, it's a big hole.
I get it that a rifle bullet delivers a whole lot of like energy, and there's a lot of physics
There's
involved.
a lot of kinetic
it's
force,
just the medievalness of the broadhead.
Yeah, one of those expanding broadheads. Could you imagine? 4-inch hole.
That's just gonna,
then you're
it's
done.
gonna shred a 1 1/4 inch hole like through your chest cavity.
So, do you think an arrow is more lethal than getting hit than with like a bullet?
I don't know because
bullets
of
spread
the
out and
physics,
fragment,
yeah.
and you can have little pieces go in little areas. But like you said,
Supposedly, it's harder to track.
fucking.
From what I heard, CSI.
But if you get shot with an
God.
arrow that's like a 2.5-inch broadhead, you literally have like a 2.5-inch hole.
Yeah.
Going all through
Yeah.
everything.
Plus
Maybe
bleeders.
Yeah, plus bleeders.
Well, and could you imagine, like, and that's ripping through you. That's
Yeah.
it's not stopping. It might hit a bone and stop. Could you imagine that? All of a sudden, you look down, you got an arrow
That's Ace
sticking out of you.
Ventura. It's in the bone.
Oh, you got a fucking dart in your neck, bro.
Oh, dude, could you imagine? Forget that.
Man.
You know what's weird? Did you see that post? Rogan reposted it, but it was an arrow found in, was it like Greenland or like Ireland?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Somewhere Nordic.
Yeah, and it was like what was it?
8,000-year-old arrow or something.
Something crazy like that. And it's like, man, the bow and arrow, you walking through the woods with that thing.
It is human.
There is something that's like, I am meant to do this.
Yeah.
It feels like this is inhuman. Like, this is right. Like, it's fun walking through the woods with my rifle because it's like, bang, bang, I'm a badass. You know, if something's a couple hundred yards away, I can shoot it. Mm-hmm. But being close with an intimate and trying to be quiet with that bow and mimicking animals, like everyone thinks of hunting and it's like, oh, I got to be super sneaky. But when we get into those elk, it's like, what are we doing? We're banging trees. When you walk up to your spot to hide behind a tree, you're crunching it so it sounds like an elk moving. That cadence of like pretending to be an animal, I identify as an elk for that week. That's fun. And there's something about doing that with my bow that brings me a greater sense of enjoyment than I do with my rifle.
100%. Yeah. I think having a bow is, like you said, it's this primal feeling of like, this feels right. You can shoot, and it only takes drawn back a fucking recurve. I've never seen anybody shoot a recurve and just go,
it's fun.
Like I think they find like enjoyment in it, or just a long, just a string and a stick. You know what I mean? Just it doesn't matter what it is. It's just drawing it back and shooting it. And the first time you shoot that and just feel the energy off that, it's like, boom, holy shit! Like that is fun. And then all of a sudden, like you just find this like zen spot, and you could just shoot your bow all day, just a recurve bow. And that's why I'm so pissed off they're trying to take that out of schools.
Yeah,
like
that
is something that we need to lean into, being human. Like that is a thing, a physical thing in the physical world that's been happening for apparently 8,000 years. and like we're trying to get rid of it for some weird reason. Like, no, that's what's, because you pick up that boat and you feel it. Just like you said, it just feels right. It feels,
Yeah, there's a lot. What do they call it? Is it? Oh God, what was Tyler calling it? Not eugenics.
Epigenetics.
Epigenetics, where you have inherited memory. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there probably is like a feeling of
it's in your DNA.
Well, that's why they say people are scared of spiders and snakes, is because back in the day, arachnids and stuff used to be way larger, and serpents were everywhere, and lizards and all that shit. But it's like you can show a baby which hasn't been exposed. Hang on. Yeah. You can show a baby. Good move. Which hasn't been exposed to any of those. You can show them pictures of it, and they have fear responses where their pupils dilate, like their heart rhythms start to fluctuate. And it's like, that kid shouldn't know what that is, but he responds. We have traits, or we have memories of the past or where we came from. That's why fire feels good. That's why things cooked over fire always taste better than things cooked over electric. These are memories from our past that live in our, I don't know, the epigenetics, the DNA, the essence. Maybe that's just what being a person is you always love that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Why do people try and fight that?
Convenience. Because to do all those things is a lot longer and tougher. To start a fire is harder than to turn on your AC. To go in the mountains and pursue that is way harder than to go in Burger King and get your food.
No, but I mean, like, why would they try and like pull that out of schools?
Yeah, I think they want the quote unquote they. Mm-hmm. I think the authoritarians who are attempting to sort of gain control of the United States of America and turn it into an authoritarian government, they understand that all of these primal skills, whether it's shooting, hunting, even like fossil fuels, right? Just because it provides some measure of independence. You can't remotely shut off an internal combustion engine can be created that doesn't have any electronics on it, right? Just the distributor cap and the spark plug wires. Mm-hmm. And that means you can't electronically shut it down. Mm-hmm. An electric car will have all kinds of electronics in it, and you can just wire in a relay with a remote radio receiver, and you can put a shutdown switch on it. It's why we should be resisting digital currency, because you can put a shutdown switch on it. I just got notice in the mail that the PUD is putting new smart meters on all our houses, that they can, and it's supposed to be big hooray, because now the meter readers don't have to walk up and read your meter. They just need to drive by within close enough proximity for the little electric or the RFID signal to get picked up. But that means that smart meter also has a switch on it that can be turned off remotely. Mm-hmm. So the more we become reliant on electronics, the more susceptible we are to, think about like going to retire in 20 years. Be like, yeah, you know what? We don't like your politics, and so we're just not going to turn on, because all our money's digital now.
Mm-hmm. It's been forever.
Yeah.
Doesn't exist.
So this is something that we've been talking about.
So I'm sorry, but I think that there is a push to suppress sort of what I would call like primal or traditional skills, because they all sort of center around independence, because people had to sort of do for themselves, right? Not sort of do for themselves. You had to do for yourself. And if you know how to do for yourself, then you're not reliant on anything. And that's kind of what Training Northwest is based around, is this idea that in order to become free to the point that nobody can take it from you, you have to be able to do everything. Like, you have to have a small community of people, and you guys as a group need to be able to accomplish all of the tasks and skill sets that come with those bottom level Maslow's hierarchy of needs: your food, water, shelter, safety. And safety includes things like medical and It's not just security with a gun.
Food.
No, it's high level
food,
knowledge
safety,
of
it's
how the
shelter.
body works.
Yeah.
It's high level knowledge of nutrition.
So the more people become independent by just having more abilities, the more those traditional skills need to get sort of suppressed so that you become dependent. And once you're dependent on the food being in the grocery store and your social credit account being active so that you can swipe your little card or your little RFID thing and get your food from the grocery store, then you're just under somebody's thumb. They can make you do anything they want.
It's a fine line because dependence has gotten us so much. Like, to get the lights we have on, to have like the cars we drive, to have these houses built, to have these communities, these jobs, this all of this stuff takes, if you're constantly, don't get me wrong, I think it's important. Yes, I'm 100% on board with what you're saying. But if you're constantly having to live those 5 rules of survival and you do it yourself, it takes so much time that you don't have time to put into other things.
Yeah, it's subsistence living.
So, yeah, so as life goes on and technology kind of from the Stone Age continuing on to today, it's like, well, to get the guys to get a village that can then chop down enough wood to make enough houses, we need to have a lot of grain, right? So now once we get a lot of grain, well, hey, so you don't have to be a farmer. I'll give you this grain for cheap because we're growing it for everyone, and now you can spend all your day chopping wood. Now we chop enough wood, we can build houses, and this continues on and on and on, and that's how we get complexity in technology and the stuff that, I mean, it's not bad to have lights. It's not bad to have...
Oh, no. What I'm saying
No.
What
I know.
started as convenience became dependence.
No, I know. So at what point does it become reliance is bad? I have to say a certain part of reliance is good because I am able to go to the grocery store.
When it gets exploited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is what's happening right now.
Yeah, when reliance becomes compliance.
Well, control.
So when you're saying someone can shut it off.
Well,
then it's like the power's been given, though.
When it gets to the point of
corruption.
Yeah. So you have a village, and you just, like you said, that village is growing grain so people can go chop wood. And then that wood gets chopped, and now they're building houses. Yeah. And now all of a sudden we get houses built, and then there's people that are coming up that they don't need to chop wood because the house is already built. Okay, well then what are they going to do? What are they going to do? And they start moving that needle forward in technology and comfort. But pretty soon, like, it ends up being more compliance than reliance. Like you
there's got to be a balance between the two where it's like, that's why I think small farming is important and stuff instead of having mass commercial farming. There needs to be a bit of community reliance, to create a surplus, but there also needs to be, like, a little bigger picture besides just the community too. How do we bring all the communities together to be a global, or like to make hang on, global. I mean, United States.
Slow down here.
No, to make like your nation stronger, to make your country stronger. But I don't think making your country stronger is having 5 factory farms throughout the United States, because then whether it's power saying we're shutting this off or a disaster, now these 5 farms are gone and no one has food. So that's where it's like there has to be a happy medium where it's like we have to be reliant enough, but we also have to have the system working for us. It's like, hey, you guys provide a little for yourself, and we're going to pick up the slack and make other things better.
It's why there's rules against monopolies, or laws, right? But it's not really working right now, is it? No. But the fact of the matter is that is the thought process behind that.
Yeah.
The if we have one farm to rule them all, and then all of a sudden we shut that down, or somebody who controls that can shut that down, and say, hey, no, I want more. I want more. And it's like, whoa. Well, the only reason people are eating is because my stuff. So I feel like I'm so entitled. And then all of a sudden it's like it throws things out of whack. And that's why like you see billionaires doing crazy shit, and because that technology has been moved so forward, that wood chopper and all that shit, now it's like, oh, it's Jeff Bezos doing fucking Amazon. Not saying that you shouldn't get paid for the thing you've made and provided, but at some point, like, it's so far out of fucking touch with reality.
Yeah.
That if we had just a family farm down the street that we all got our eggs and meat and dairy, like everything we needed from.
Yeah.
Like, and we could rely on that. And there was another farm over here that would grow wheat. And then there's another farm that's growing corn, and and we could just interact within our own community, and we didn't get online, and we could just go do those things and like provide a service for them or some sort of good for our group. Like that, it would just, I feel like that's the way to live.
Yes.
Like that's the way to truly live, because you don't need all this technology bullshit. I mean, yes, it's
we're
awesome
enamored
sitting
with
here.
stuff.
Yes,
and it's kind of
shiny.
Yeah.
Stuff is nice, but don't let stuff consume your life. The purpose of having this stuff is to use it to amplify your life.
Life is about this gym.
Yeah.
Life is about having a group of people that want you to succeed and do good things. We are just in a time in the world and space or whatever that all these technologies are at our fingertips, and it's kind of making shit fall apart.
Yes.
I think if we were 40 years behind where we're at right now, I think we wouldn't feel the way we feel.
Do you think China does it right in a way where it's like they limit internet time? They understand that.
Fuck China. Do you not know anything?
No. I mean, just like I do believe you're right.
You can see it in the TikTok algorithms.
Yeah.
Where apparently, I don't know because I haven't been on TikTok, but according to everybody,
show us your dance.
Yeah,
he does a dance. He does this dance, guys.
All the pretty girls dance like this. But do you think
apparently
that
you guys have been watching? So American TikTok is all just mindless bullshit.
Yeah.
Whereas in China,
it's all STEM.
Yeah, exactly. They're showing other kids solving math problems or Rubik's cubes or doing art projects. And so you can see the Chinese company is feeding two different versions of this is what fun looks like, this is what success looks like to two different cultures, right? Like it's so fucking obvious.
The last thing I watched on Instagram before I came here was like
some guy like
Cajun hillbilly cooking an alligator with tons of butter on a flat top griddle. And it's like, yeah, it's just mindless bullshit. It wasn't.
I think that you could at least chalk up to spreading arts and culture.
Excuse me, mindless bullshit. Come on now.
Come on now.
I forget what.
Stick of butter, babe.
Stick of butter. Yep. Bow. And he throws it on the griddle. I know the guy you're talking about.
Stick of butter, babe.
Yeah, I mean.
But once again, all right. Let's wrap this up with the communication idea.
I deleted not TikTok. I never had TikTok. I deleted Instagram the other day.
There's still an Enlightened Neanderthals page?
There is. I got to figure out how to log back into it. Sorry, y'all.
The dick pics made him turn off Instagram.
Too much.
Yeah.
It was a forest of cocks.
Burned out his retina.
And I was like, look at these guys just fucking,
Is that a wart?
Yeah.
If you had to wear an eye patch like a pirate because you saw so many dick pics, it would fucking make my day.
Yeah.
It's
my
like
depth perception's fucked.
Yeah.
I can't. It's just so much. Yeah.
So funny.
Can't see a cock through the dick.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, so to bring this back to communication, but that's what the internet, like we're saying, this problem of like mindless stuff being shown on your social media feeds, and it pulls you away from maybe a deeper meaning or having deeper relations with people or just pursuing your life because you're, what'd they say? Bread and circus in Rome. Give them bread and circus and it feeds you. So that is bad communicating. You're filling a void of wanting to talk to people with just something that hits off in neural pathways, or it gives a response instead of you're having that quick little fix, the kid on his terrarium back in the day. And it's like, yeah, it's cool to see someone else doing it, but when you spend years working on your own terrarium and master it, it's better. So we're starting to lose communication. And also, everything you see on the news is communication.
Everybody wants to... the reason I think why there's depression right now is because we've gone past a way of, like, communicating. It's one-way communication, right? Mm-hmm. And that's dominating communication right now. Like, you get on Instagram, and it is just... You're riddled with successful people doing successful things, and all these people have all these different things. So I follow these guys and I see them every day, but guess what? I'm not doing fucking any of it. I am a piece of shit. I'm less than them. That's not true. Like, no. You go back to the 90s, and it wasn't like that at all. Like, before we had Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all these different fucking social media platforms.
Shout out MySpace.
Yeah, people. Yeah, what is up, Tom?
Top 5.
You weren't comparing yourself to people in that regard.
Well, you compared yourself to the people around you, not the people that you've never met.
Yeah.
You should compare yourself to the ones you work with. That's what school is, in middle school and high school, is learning who you are and dealing with different personalities. Why is this person smart? Why is this person popular? Why is this person strong? You're comparing yourself. The person that said comparison is the thief of joy is a retard, because that's life. We're pattern recognition. You're comparing, you're looking. And what we compare is not what's in front of us. It's what's this ethereal thing on our phone,
but we're looking
that most people don't live.
We're looking at that in comparing to the top 1% in the fucking world. That's not reality.
No.
And a lot of people won't achieve that. And also, a lot of the shit
if you're comparing yourself to people on Instagram, a lot of them are fake.
That's what I mean. But that's kind of like what we're also pushing is like, hey, this guy's taking pictures with ducks all the time, and like he's just this fucking dude that he's got a hot chick and he's got a bunch of money and he's doing silly shit and he's just living this life. It's like, well, that might work for him, but that's because you're fucking feeding his whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, he's not doing anything great.
Make your life the ducks and the hot chick.
Well,
don't watch someone else do it.
Just do something that's you find joy in.
Well, but that's what I said about philosophy earlier. That's what bothers me about the monk. Like, the people on Instagram are the monks saying, this is what it's about. This is what it's about. And it's like, everyone's like, yes, read the book, read the chapters of this philosophy, follow it, read. But it's like, no, life is about doing it. It's not about watching other people do it or read about people doing it, or it's about your experiences. To create a deep life, you have to create your own philosophy, right? And you can take examples from people, but it shouldn't be about your life is all about those examples. You need to constantly be creating those examples. You should be your TikTok. You should be your Instagram, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about, we are that right now, right? Like, we're sitting here and we're talking and we're doing this and we're sitting around a little circle and there's somebody listening and they're doing that for us right now, and maybe that's why we're doing this, and it's like, oh, is this like some sort of a clout? Is this some sort of a, like, why are we doing this? Why are we making this conversation happen? Somebody's going to get something out of this, and I think a lot of people, maybe not a lot, it depends on what you think, but I think there's guys around that enjoy this, I think we are enjoying it, and it's within our own community, and that's fucking good enough for me.
That's enough for me.
You know, but like it's also fun to like think like, oh, it's wider reaching, but then at that point, it's like, does that fucking matter at all? Like, we're sitting here doing this, and like, why? It comes back to the communication. Why are we doing this? We're doing this for Tobin, Mike, and myself to be able to sit down, plug into our reality, and bullshit. Yeah. And that is important. And everybody, like, whether you're listening to this or not, or I mean, obviously, people talk to each other somewhat, but to find a group of people and sit down and just bullshit around a fire or just bullshit around anything, doing whatever you want to do, making human connection and not having this alternative reality of like what you should be doing. Like, this is what we should be doing. We should be going to jiu-jitsu. We should be going and hunting together. We should be sitting down and talking. That's what this all is about.
Yeah. I think blue-collar people are generally more happy for that very reason because, again, maybe not all blue-collar, but everybody on construction sites pretty happy. And I think it's because we interact with each other all day long, and we're constantly having to sort of collaborate.
Solve problems together.
Yeah. And then afterwards, a lot of times on Fridays, everybody's like, hey, let's all go get a couple beers after work. And then everybody hangs out, and then a lot of, probably 2-3 times a year you'll get together on a Saturday night with families and everything, and it's
in the 80s. That was during the week, though. Fuck, missed those good days.
Yeah.
Or on the job, even.
Yeah, I would say at lunchtime, two beer lunch.
There's a local, and I'm sorry to fucking interrupt what you're
Go.
saying. Tobin makes great points, but there's a local that like it's still in their contract.
Oh, they can have 2 beers at lunch?
No, that's in the contract, though, that there needs to be fridge space for 2 beers.
Ah, nice.
So it's like they can't drink on the job, but that's still like worded in the contract. You need to provide a fridge for everybody on the job so they can at least put 2 beers in the fridge. So like that's a sizing requirement for fridges, and like, but it's just hilarious.
I bet being a firefighter in the 80s was fun because fire departments up until the 90s used to have beer and vending machines in the departments.
Oh,
yes.
Shit.
Oh, boy.
Holy shit.
Why they finally took them out is because a ladder truck, like one of the big where you drive the cab and then the body's being driven by another person in the back. Yep. Like they fucking flipped it over and all the firefighters are hammered.
Oh, shit.
And then, what is it? NFPA, National Fire Protection Agency. They made a rule saying, alcohol's no more
drinking.
And it was up until the late 90s.
Holy shit.
It's wild to think,
Dude, I my heart, I think, was in probably the early 80s.
Yeah.
I feel like I wish my youth or my 20s or my current body should be like, I wish I could go to like a fucking.
You should have graduated
Death
in
Leopard
like
concert.
81.
Yeah.
82 probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
Get coked up and go watch Def Leppard.
Just go see Iron Maiden, Def Leppard, fucking Motley Crue. Just
get some
my hair teased.
Get some high tops.
Oh, dude, you would have the best perm, bud.
Yes, you would.
Feathered hair,
Jerry
perm.
curl, everybody's driving a Pontiac.
Fuck
What's up? Yeah, dude. But that's also like I think part of that is all that, that communication of like you had to live real lives. Because I think about this, and maybe younger people look at their parents and don't, but like my dad lived a life, and he's got these crazy fucking stories, and my uncle's got these crazy stories.
Yeah,
and it's like. And they grew up like, I think my dad graduated in 87, right? And it's like, or 6, 80, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like that, and just these crazy shit that was happening back then. And as I got older, I graduated in 2008. Like that's it. It was a different time with different technology, and like, online shit was happening more and more and more. And so, like, he lived this life that was so unpadded and just raw. So I'm enamored with it.
Yeah.
Versus the life that I've lived. And that's part of what shaped, like, who I am. I was, like, always, like, looking at other people being like, they're living this crazy fucking life.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that kind of fed me into, like, oh, well, I'm just going to look up people living these crazy lives online. And it's like, just go do your own fucking thing. But
I feel lucky that I grew up when I did, like in the 80s and 90s. And I like kind of like that was the last, the last of being able to be sort of free and rough and tumble and kind of go get into trouble and work your way out of it. And at the time you don't realize it. But now looking back, especially from here, it's like, man.
Your mistakes weren't forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I look at kids now, and all their mistakes are online.
Yeah.
And guess what? That's with you forever now.
Yeah.
And it's going to be with you forever on the internet, in the government, and job interviews, all of it. All it's going to take is them to look up.
Yeah.
Hey, what was this when you were 12 years old? You said,
Yeah. I am so glad I got through my 20s before there were cell phone cameras.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You said that many times. Yeah. Yeah, that's and that is part of that compliance. Like, people have to comply with the social norms, or not social norms, but the you can't say what you truly think and want to say, because if you don't comply with the new wokeness, it's going to catch up with you. And all of a sudden, you're going to be judged at what you did or thought or said, and that is now who you are.
Well, think of all the people who have posted Antifa or BLM stuff all over basically their life. And when the pendulum swings back the other way, how fucked they're going to be.
Well, you know what the thing is like, it's that corporate shit is not swinging back as quickly as I would have thought.
Oh, God.
Because
I think
I've
there's
seen
a huge pushback.
I know people who were like,
I heard Starbucks got rid of LGBTQ.
QRST.
Did they?
WXYZ
Because
plus
I know somebody that was high up in Starbucks, like 3 tiers from the top, and they were posting wild shit. That was like, I was offended because
I have no idea. I just think the pendulum always swings. It goes back and forth, and it's so far left right now.
When it stops, we're dead.
That when it swings back, it's going to go very far right. And so now there's all these digital records of, they think they're on the winning team right now, but that pendulum always goes back. You know what I mean? You can't stop it.
Yeah.
And it'll come back around another time. And so it's like you said, at least in the past, your mistakes were not sort of recorded forever.
That's one thing that my high school wrestling coach would tell us.
Yeah.
And tells the kids to this day. I feel bad for you guys because everything you do is recorded forever. And you have to be, you cannot make mistakes the way that you used to be able to make mistakes. Everything is recorded, and you're going to post everything, and it's going to be, I mean, again, it's a, technology is amazing, and it's allowing people right now to listen to us on their cell phones and hit pause if they've made it this far. Like, I mean, technology is amazing, and I'm so glad I live in the time I live in. But I wish there was compassion for just people being able to say and be who they want to be, and that is not the reality. People are so dogmatic, and it's sad.
Yeah.
It's new. I don't think we know how to use it properly. I don't know, like, if we know what the rules are. Like, maybe it would be better that your timeline, your history, everything vanishes all the time, and, it's a constant reset. And what posting is who you are at the moment. But Yeah, I think it's something where it's weird because it's taken over culture, it's taken over government, it's taken over advertising, it's taken over everything, and where it leads, I don't know, but I know we're green with it. This is an infancy, and we're starting to figure out how this affects, culture, rules, everything all at once, and yeah. Is this making the pendulum shift one way or to the other, or is it making the pendulum shift harder? Is this causing more friction than it is good? I don't know where this leads, but
I think, yeah, I wish that I wish that we were in a spot where I guess it wouldn't make a difference. Photo albums. Remember photo albums and just opening up an old photo album. And when I was in college, we had a wall, posting on your wall, right? Because that was was it Facebook or MySpace or whatever? You post on your wall. We would take pictures with Kodak cameras, or just go to the store and put our cell phones in the thing and print out. And we would post to the wall of stuff that we thought might not be okay to put up. And we would just put it on the actual wall, and we called it posting on the wall. So people would just come and put wild fucking pictures up of printed out pictures.
Yeah,
so it wasn't getting
thumbtacks onto the wall.
Yeah, so it wasn't getting posted online.
Yeah.
In an apartment, and we just have all these fucking pictures, and it was nice to do that because looking back, it's oh shit, I'm glad we were doing that, versus what that shit was, But I mean, not that we were doing anything bad; everything was harmless. But it just who knows what is going to be the next social credit,
Oh yeah.
if Trudeau did blackface, you'll be okay.
Oh, I'm going to be just fine. I mean, I'll say whatever I want and do whatever I want because I don't think I'm important enough to, I'm not trying to do big things, right? But I have thought it's hey, if I wanted to run for mayor of Lake Stevens one day, could you imagine me doing that? But if I wanted to do
They're
that,
going to use this.
They would do wild. Yeah, we couldn't just because of what I've said on here. All of a sudden, or people would be fuck yeah. Yeah, honesty, finally,
Yeah.
Yeah, more
and
more it's 50-50. So many people
Yeah,
are
I
starting
think
to
you'd
realize
actually
how
be
scripted
split.
and
That's why I
bullshit it
like
is.
Trump.
Trump gas.
Dude, I mean, and even if he's lying, it feels honest to me. It feels at least somewhat how I talk.
And
Even if he's lying about his personal details, it's exactly what it is. It's a pushback and a fuck you to this system that is not serving anybody.
Well, and it seems as much as they say robbing democracy and all this stuff, to me it doesn't personally feel like that, but it feels like someone got in the system that wasn't part of it, and the system is fighting back, and it's oh, that's maybe kind of a good thing.
It's absolutely a good
thing. Yeah,
it's absolutely a good thing.
The entrenched not like it, and you're oh, if this really is freedom and democracy and new blood representing and ideas, it's the establishment shouldn't be pushing back. It should be going with whoever is the leader at the moment. But then you get politics, personalities, all this stuff. I don't know. But
it's money being sucked out of us. And, dude, it fucked me up when Tyler was telling us that and started talking about liberty versus freedom. And it's yeah, you know what? You're fucking right. And looking at, we're getting wildly off topic. Not that we've been wildly off topic for a few minutes now. Sorry, guys. I'm looking around these 4 or 5 beers.
Speaking of which,
yeah, the fact that we get taxed like we do is fucking with me,
dude.
It's fucking with me hard right now, and it's dude,
taxes,
dude. I mean, you get taxed on making money. That dollar was also taxed from your company giving you money. Now you're going to get taxed on buying things.
investing.
The people who sold that tax had to get taxed on getting that.
Your investments you've made,
Yeah.
the people you give it to,
your land.
I read a
the
great
interest it
description.
makes.
I read a great description of why inflation is necessary and why the dollar loses value over time, and it's because of what you guys are talking about. So every time, if I have a business, like let's say Jordan and I have a small businesses,
Company.
every time we have a transaction between us, let's say I buy something from him, I give him $10. Well, the government takes 10% of that. So now that $10 is only worth $9.90. And so then he takes, now he only has
$9.
That $10 is only worth
10% of 10 is.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No worries.
Jesus. Yeah. That's why you're here, buddy. Who's retarded now?
It's about fucking time.
Yeah. So that $10 that I gave you is now only worth $9. So now your $10 that's only worth $9, you need to buy materials, and you need $7 worth of materials to make a $10 profit, right?
Flat tax.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
So then, but then to get your $7 worth of materials, that $10 you have is only worth $9. So you go and you spend, you get back. You know what I mean? Like it just devalues each time.
It's
it gets
artificial
taxed.
inflation. Yeah,
Exactly.
you're trying to keep a
Each
system
time
alive.
It gets taxed. It gets devalued.
But that's what all these collapses and bubbles are, is you eventually hit a point where that bubble collapses because it's not
Right.
based off of like a flat tax.
Well, I
general
mean,
rate.
so that goes back to like going off the gold standard. Was inflation, crazy inflation happening on the gold standard?
No, inflation is unique to fiat currency.
So, I mean, and that goes back to like, why is gold worth things?
I don't know.
Like, why is silver?
Superconductor. That's
would-
all
I
I
would-
think.
I would-
Well, it's a
Yeah,
superconductor.
so
It's
what was going on before that?
Yeah, what technology
shiny.
made it fucking this rare metal that you find in the ground and melt
I could
down?
give
And
shit about. I have gold rings in my safe. It's like, do you think I look at them or I hold them and I'm like, ooh, this is?
And they won't
I
keep you
get
warm, and
value.
you can't eat them.
I'll
I
tell you
don't
what.
get it.
I'll tell you what.
I don't get it.
I like, and maybe I'm putting the value of it, but I like holding a chunk of gold.
Yeah, but I get
Only
more,
because you know it's worth.
I think that's
Value.
probably I'm holding it because I'm like, this is something.
Yeah.
But there's something about the weight. There's something about
heavy.
holding. Just if I had a coin of gold and it was worth nothing, it'd still be like, oh, that's kind of nice. Because I'll do it with a penny. It's like, but the penny's not heavy.
Yeah.
You know, I people do it with fucking rocks. You know what
you
I
got
mean?
rocks in your
got rocks
pocket.
I carry rocks in my pocket.
I got a rock in my pocket.
Yeah, I'm retarded or nothing, but I got rock in my pocket. Helps me go to sleep. Yeah, I just think that using gold as the standard of which, I mean, because you're not going to inflate gold. There's only so much of it.
Yeah. Well, inflation is caused by the injection of more currency into the system when the supply is
It's a
fixed.
hyperinflated bubble.
Yeah.
Creating
Well,
a
so
bubble.
what? Like
It's
I said,
it's two phased. It's what I was talking about earlier, where you devalue the money every time you tax it, but then you also, at times, they'll say, "Hey, we printed however many trillion new dollars for all these stimulus plans," and so the amount of supply in the system didn't change, but you just gave everybody a bunch of new wealth with which to try to buy the same amount of supply. So that just means your dollar can't buy as much because the amount of supply did not increase with the amount of dollars.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If the amount of gold does not increase, if you had a gold coin,
Yeah.
and that's what you had to buy your Starbucks with, it wouldn't make.
Yeah, but all of it's ethereal. I don't need gold for
Yeah,
survival.
hang
I
on.
need
Somehow gold took the place of just straight trade. And
Yeah.
I don't
I don't
understand what the
understand.
value of gold is.
Yeah, exactly. It's lustrous.
Well,
People like it for some
it's a
reason.
superconductor. There was there's technology. There was technology before people understand. They used it for space travel and blocking out the sun.
Actually,
with
Anunnaki.
their-
Yeah, we're incorrect.
Gamma rays.
It's not a superconductor. It's just a good conductor.
Yeah, like I said.
No, it is if it gets frozen
Like
to
negative
300 Kelvin.
absolute zero
Yeah,
or some
yeah,
shit
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But I mean,
Like
you apply
I said,
that in the right way.
superconductor. fucking idiot.
Sorry.
Should we superconduct ourselves out of this?
Yeah, I think so. It's a Tuesday night, and we're all tired. So,
pass me another beer.
Go communicate with some friends, people.
Yep.
Get some meaningful relationships. Talk with your friends. Challenge ideas. Fucking do some rounds with mental masturbation and verbal skills.
Yeah. And if you want to do a little online communication, give us a rating on Spotify or the Apple Podcast app, because it does help us get our show in front of a few more potential listeners. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Later.
Toes are weird, right? Mike and Tobin went down to get bathroom break, and I have a bladder that's just ridiculously robust, so I don't need to go to the bathroom, and I'm just standing up here or I guess I'm sitting up here. I'm just looking at my toes, going, fucking weird things. I don't know, man. It's crazy how important they are, though, with balance and shit. But I don't know. Kind of feel like this is like ASMR when people are doing that and trying to drink